Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another mini case episode. My name is Kayla, and I've missed you guys. It's been a while. And today's case is crazy. There has been so much buzz about it going on social media for the last 2 weeks, and not a lot of information was readily available. But now that more details have been released, I would love to share the tea with you guys about this horrifying situation known as the Houston House of Horrors. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you enjoy this type of content. On October 24th, Houston police received a call from a young teenager clearly in distress and asking for help. When the police arrived at the apartment, they found 3 malnourished children living in absolutely filthy conditions. The home was bare, with little furniture and no bedding or blankets, infested with roaches, and had little to no food there for the children to eat. Police said there was only really junk food, things like chips and instant noodles and sodas and stuff like that available to them. Upon inspecting the apartment further, police found human remains. Yes, human remains that had been decomposing in the home where these children were living, seemingly all by themselves. The remains weren't hidden either, but out in the open and were in a skeletal state, meaning only bones were left. Oh my gosh. Police said that when they found the 15-year-old, the 10-year-old, and 7-year-old, you could tell that they'd just been fending for themselves for a long while, and that the oldest child was doing his absolute best to take care of his younger siblings. This poor thing. Police asked if the 3 were hungry, and they said yes, and they asked for donuts, which they were given. Those poor kids. The police then set out to find the parents of the children and identify the human remains. Police were able to locate 35-year-old Gloria Williams, the children's mother, and her boyfriend, 31-year-old Brian Coulter, at a nearby public library where they were taken into custody and questioned by investigators. Apparently, they were caught in the act of looking for details about this very case. More about that later. The pair was initially released after questioning because investigators felt they needed more evidence to really be able to make the arrest. And boy, did they find what they were looking for. After digging into the lives of Gloria and Brian a little more, investigators found out that there were actually 4 children living in the household: the 15-year-old, the 10-year-old, the 7-year-old, and an 8-year-old. After the medical examiner conducted the autopsy on the human remains, they found that they belonged to 8-year-old Kendrick Lee. According to the examiner, Kendrick's cause of death was listed as, quote, homicidal violence with multiple blunt force injuries. They learned that the little boy lost his life sometime around Thanksgiving of 2020, and that after his violent death, Gloria and Brian left his body in the home for months before they just up and decided to leave and find somewhere else to live. Meanwhile, her other 3 children were still staying in the home, completely alone. Gloria would later admit that she would give them food sometimes. She would go and give them food or even just order food to the house, but obviously not enough since they were found in such a terrible, malnourished state. Now you may be asking, so who killed Kendrick Lee? Well, allegedly, Brian Coulter did. And I'm only saying allegedly because he has not been tried or convicted for the crime yet. According to a criminal complaint filed, Brian beat and kicked Kendrick with his fists and feet until he became motionless. And this type of violence, physical violence, was apparently something that the children were accustomed to in Brian's care. They were regularly abused by Brian, with Brian even breaking the 10-year-old's jaw in recent weeks. The children had been living alone for over 6 months and were only rescued by police after the 15-year-old texted his mother saying that he just couldn't take it anymore and wanted to call police for help. That is probably why Gloria and Brian were at the library looking for details about this case, because they knew it was coming. After looking at the couple's social media, police found pictures of them out together, living their best lives, with even one picture on Gloria's Instagram showing 2 frozen cocktails with the caption, "Drinks, me and my husband." Wow, what a trash human being. Brian's Instagram is filled with videos of him eating like really good food, showing off probably fake jewelry, and professing his love for his family and his woman, Gloria. How could they afford to be doing shit like this, you may ask? Well, Gloria was still getting help from the state in housing assistance and $2,000 a month for childcare assistance that she clearly wasn't using to care for her children. Just terrible. Gloria Williams has been charged with 2 counts of injury to a child by omission and 1 count of tampering with evidence, specifically a human corpse. She is also facing charges of failure to provide medical care and failure to provide adequate supervision. As of November 7th, her bail has been increased from $900,000 to $1.5 million. Brian Coulter is being charged with felony murder, and his bail has been set at $1 million. As the investigation continues, charges could either be added or dropped. During a court hearing held on October 27, 2021, the 2 youngest children testified that they'd both witnessed Brian Coulter kill their brother. They recounted how he kicked and punched the 8-year-old until his eyes were black and he stopped moving. Gloria also allegedly claimed that she saw the attack happen, saying that she tried to stop Coulter but was unsuccessful, and that the next day he apologized to her, saying he had snapped and beat the boy, quote, until he went to sleep. How disgusting. Her reasoning for not contacting police was 1, Brian told her not to, and that 2, she was scared her children would be taken away from her and she would go to jail. Sergeant Wilford said the eldest child was, quote, just absolutely afraid and basically hoping or relying on his mother to, at some point, contact law enforcement and advise them of his deceased brother in the house. And that didn't happen. And I think after a year's time, the 15-year-old finally said, enough is enough, end quote. One of the biggest questions I had while researching this case was, what about the school? The children had previously been in school, and after a year and a half of absences, why was there no follow-up? Yes, you heard that right. The children had not attended school since May of 2020. Apparently, the local school district filed truancy papers against Gloria twice in that time span, but the charges were dismissed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. When the children would run out of food, they'd reportedly receive some aid from a neighbor who'd give them some food and would allow them to also charge their cell phone when the electricity was disconnected in the home. Once the story broke, other residents in the area expressed their concern about how this could go on for so long without anyone noticing a problem. Another neighbor told the Daily Beast that maintenance staff had recently been coming around to all of the apartments to see if they needed to be repaired. And she wondered how none of the workers noticed a dead body in the unit. She said, quote, I'm concerned nobody smelt nothing. Something's not adding right. Something ain't right, end quote. But according to another neighbor, the smell coming from the apartment was so foul that she couldn't even run her air conditioner because it brought the smell into her home. She said she asked the building management to look into it, but nothing ever happened. As of right now, the 3 children are under the care of the state, and the middle child is now going to undergo surgery to fix his broken jaw. In an interview with the Daily Mail, the grandmother of the 7-year-old child said she would have gladly adopted all 4 children if she had any idea of what was going on. So what do you guys think about this case? Personally, it broke my heart in half that those children had to go through that and live alone for so long and suffer for so long. I just hope that they get justice for not only their suffering, but for the loss of their brother. So what did you guys think? Let us know in the comments. And if you like this video, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel so you can catch the next one. My name is Kayla, and I will see you guys in the next video.